Welcome back, Nick. This is Comic Corner Classics, less known classic. This episode number 1494 and Doubleshot number 1388. We have pretty much kind of in the way two finales for this one. First, it's a finale for this a volume of a series and a writer's run. Yes, we have Batman Beyond Volume 8. The attraction, the eradication agenda. Yep. And as in the cover, yep, Booster Gold is here for a two-parter called Cancelled by Yesterday. That took up issues 48, 49. It's an excellent two-parter that kind of in a way inadvertently sets up the finale for this run. Now, this book collects issues 43, I think it's like 43 to 70 if I'm not mistaken. It's 43 to 50. Yes, 43 to 50. Now, the opening, get this, the opening 4 issues is a follow-up to the second story arc at this run, featuring the return of Damian Wayne, where apparently this guy called Mr. Zero, he was a lieutenant under Ra's al Ghul, decided to overthrow him because he didn't like Damian's methods. So, he forms Lions Batman, basically stop him, and pretty much his plan is simply destroy the planet, which that's going to be kind of difficult to do. Yep, and we also have Batwoman getting a brand new costume, where it's very heavily inspired by Nightwing. Also, the storyline, get this, starts off with Terry, Matt, and Bruce Wayne going to a tower to basically have the new base operations because the last one was wrecked by Blight. Yes, which of course I think was Matt calls it the Bat Suite, which it looks so awesome. Yeah, I mean that's how the thing starts off with the Bat Suite. It is so funny. Yeah, this of course wrapped the whole thing with Mr. Zero. Has about some goons and stuff dealing with basically Dick Grayson and his daughter, who doesn't like the fact he is, well, Batwoman. Here it is, the Bat Suite, which Bruce Wayne does not like the name, but yeah, it looks like a Bat Suite. And it is commented on, like, this fact I think coming on people noticing them. It's mentioned by Bruce Wayne the reason that the way they're able to avoid being detected by the public is because Bruce Wayne owns the ring of buildings surrounding this one, so no one will ever notice that Batman is coming and going from this very building, which I'm like, that's ingenious. Also, here's something. I think Dan Jurgens must have pulled something from, I think it was like Grant Morrison, I think it was. Because when Dick Grayson was Batman, he had him stop using the Batcave. He basically sealed it up, though he later reopened it when Bruce Wayne came back. And he decided to set up shop in a tower, basically the Bat Bunker. That was his base operations for the next 2 years prior to DC relaunch. This, I think, is a nod to that. That's in my opinion, anyways. But that was a really neat idea. And plus, also, Dick Grayson, and this was Dick Grayson's Batman. He had Damian Wayne as a Robin. There's even not to Robin the story, which I thought was so cool by Dick Grayson calling Damian Robin. Because they were partners after all. And he's actually the only Robin I can think of that Damian has got no problem with. He sees him more. He's the only one who actually really trusts out of the 3 people who've been Robin before him, like besides Jason Todd and Tim Drake. Of the 3, Dick Grayson, he gets along great with him. Basically treats him a lot like a big brother, which is always so awesome. Tim Drake, I don't think gets along with him at all. I think Jason Todd just doesn't give a damn about him at all. Nope. But this is so cool. And it's like, oh look, a Bat Suite. And Bruce's like, no. Yep, I thought that was so cool. And we had the Scarjammers where basically we have Terry go after them again. Now you're probably thinking, now before I get the next bit here, like, okay, why isn't Matt McGinnis back being Robin again? Well, he had temporarily given up because he got injured. I know we have Goliath show up. Yes, this is the follow-up from the second arc, where they go and deal with the whole thing with Mr. Zero. And this lasts throughout these few issues. And then despite the fact Blight damaged the Batcave, yeah, Dick Grayson wearing like a Nightwing-inspired shirt, a jacket, which I think is so cool for him to wear. Yep, so Barbara Gordon. Now, apparently his Dick Grayson's are always adored well, Barbara Gordon, and Barbara Gordon sees Dick Grayson's daughter as a daughter she never had. Unknown if she ever married the guy. It's unknown in this continuity if Barbara Gordon married the DA who was black. I have no idea if she did. So there was a deeper chamber, and then of course while the fighting's going on, and of course do Mr. Zero, and of course Damien injured, of course he has to come back, and it's nice, like I said, with the whole thing with Damien and Dick Grayson, where they're pretty much brothers, even though that Dick Grayson's adopted. Mm-hmm. And then we have the Nightwing inspired costume for Batwoman. Yep. This, of course, is really cool. Now, I do have a question about this story arc. Where the heck is 10? Yes, she is completely absent from the storyline. Yeah, there's no mention of what happened to her. She's just not here for some reason. I don't think she. I know she broke up. Now, from what I know about this book, I will mention more about this. He broke up with his original girlfriend, and then he started dating 10, and then that apparently got dropped for some reason. Oh yeah, by the way, the trade itself, for some reason, decided to include like the end, like next issue. I have no idea why this did this for. Yeah, they did it for this one. Yeah, it seems like for the final trade they decided to include this for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I would have thought that with the trade paperback he would remove it. Nope, we have to keep it in there for some reason. Yep. Now, 4049 is a time travel story for one Booster Gold. Now, of course, Booster Gold has to pop up in a Dan Jurgens comic book because I'm sure it's probably in his contract because he loves this character. I mean, can you think of one comic Dan Jurgens has worked on where Booster Gold has not shown up at all? The answer is zero, because he always shows up at some point. Heck, we even had it where an issue of, I think it was in Superman, where they actually brought Booster Gold's costume back to the classic design, the Dan Jurgens design from back in the 80s, even though in the 90s he had pretty much abandoned the costume because it got damaged, and of course, thanks to Dan Jurgens, who created the character, have him go back to his original costume. And here is a time travel story where there's a guy called Blake. I'll think about hating him, which I thought was kind of dumb. So, do a bit of time traveling. Yep. And with a time bubble. Yes, a freaking time bubble from a Legion of Superheroes. My guess is Booster must have stole this from the Legion. Just like how he has a Legion ring. Yep. So he's with kids. Fight Block, which I think is from that comic. Plus, seeing the past version of Batman show up in here. Yeah, I think this is actually, from what I can tell, the current costume he's wearing. That he's wearing right now, anyways. And this is weird though, like, in the book he's wearing a different costume than he's wearing the cover. On the cover, it looks like he's wearing, this cover here, it looks like he's wearing the costume he wore on New Batman Adventures. And of course, well, he is a kid named Warren McGinnis, aka Terry saves his own father from Black. And, well, it's just a really good two-parter. And it turns out, nope, this is all just a big lie. They didn't change anything at all. The final issue is simply, well, dealing with the whole apparent thing with Ink coming back and... Yep. And we have Dinah Tan. I believe, I don't remember if this is 10. I think this is supposed to be his previous girlfriend he had in the series. And apparently that, well, oh yeah, 10 is there finally. Where the heck has she been the last few issues? So apparently Bruce was attacked. And then we have Wonder Woman. Yeah, she shows up here because she is immortal after all. And she still looks great for her age compared to Dick Grayson. So we have Batman Beyond. Wonder Woman voices fighting Ink for the last issue, which is so awesome. And of course, he gets healed, and it says, definitely not the end. Yeah, it is. Yep. Overall, this was a really good book. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's damn good. Now, my final thoughts on Batman Beyond under Dan Jurgens and this volume. And the case Dan Jurgens. I definitely think he was a good choice to basically take over as being the writer of this book. I mean, he's done a really good job with this book. In the case of the previous volume, which basically lasted for 16 issues, that one got mixed reception at best. I can understand that. I read the book; it was okay. I didn't. I think that in the way for that book, it was mostly in the way Dan Jurgens writing a love letter to the original Batman the Batman cartoon. Heck, even have Justice League Beyond show up there. That was mostly there with the stuff with deal with Brother Eye. In the case of the next volume, it didn't even mention Brother Eye. Apparently, there's no mention of like a post-apocalyptic future. It felt like a soft relaunch of Batman Beyond. There's no mention of of Tim Drake from Future's End. There's no mention at all. I think Dan Jurgens spectators are like, yeah, I want to write Batman Beyond. I want to write Terry McGinnis. I don't want to write Tim Drake as Robin, not Robin as Batman. So this book basically just has future versions of basically characters we see regularly, anyways. And first starts with him with Diana Tan, who was his girlfriend at the start, and of course his girlfriend from the animated series, who in the epilogue from Justice League, which had Terry become like a muscle like a bodybuilder, proposing to Diana at the end of at that one. And this one you have, apparently they broke up because she couldn't stand him being Batman very much, so he started dating 10, which is also a nod to, it's kind of in the way this book in a way is a semi-continuation of the original comic that came before Flashpoint, and like it's a combination of that, a mixture of basically Rebirth stuff, and the animated series. It felt like a mixture of that. There's nothing wrong with this book at all. No, not really. When I saw the book in age 50, I'm like, okay, if you want to end it there, that's perfectly fine. I was not sad to see it go. I don't think it was a terrible comic. No. The Rebirth run was really good. Dan Jurgens had a clear plan for this book, and pretty much he wrapped up what he wanted to do with the book at the very end. Yep. Yeah. And, well, it's just really good. Alright, moving on to Blue Beetle, Volume 2, Hard Choices. Now, this is from the Keith Giffen run. This actually is the last issue that Keith Giffen wrote for the book before he left. And you have James DeMatteis basically coming in halfway through the story arc as a co-writer. The reason why, because there's actually a tie-in to a series they're writing at this point. I'll get to that. And the artwork is done by Scott Nolans. Yep. Now, most of the story arc is simply having Blue Beetle fight Archon. Who's thinking, who the heck is Archon? He's a character from the 80s. Yep. He fights him, teams up with Dr. Fate, who ends up briefly losing Helmet, getting back. And he even had a team up with freaking O.M.A.C. Yeah, I thought that was really awesome. O.M.A.C. Who apparently at this point was his best friend. Which, okay, that's fine. But here's kind of the thing. Now, Brenda, who is his friend in the book, she herself is here. But I'm like, where's his other best friend? Like, the book starts out with him confronting Ted Kord, of all people. Yes, Ted Kord. Over the fact his mom was taken, what happened with his mom, and the fact the posse is there. Yeah. And about partway through the story, Archon takes the Scarab from Jamie, and then he continues his Blue Beetle by putting on the old Ted Kord costume, which I thought that was really cool, the fact that he did that. And then he took symbiote back from him, becoming the regular Blue Beetle again, though he started kind of acting out of control. And, of course, Jamie talked to Brother Eye, and, of course, also, not only that, but also we have Ted Kord from alliance with Brother Eye just to deal with, the Scarab. Eventually, the Scarab is stopped, and, Dr. Pierce restored normal, and we have Batman show for a couple issues, which that was quite nice, because after all, why the heck not? He also tells Ted Kord, stop writing letters to the Justice League. It's embarrassing. And, of course, Terry is there wondering, I might think it was like once or twice a week. Yeah, that was kind of funny. And the whole thing with Terry and this other Flash, there's actually a Flash pops up here in this book. Yeah, there's actually a reason for that because these two are actually from Justice League 3000. I'm not kidding about that. Yep, that's the reason why Jay and the Monsters is brought in the book, just to bring a couple of characters just like 3000, just to advertise, hey, this book happened. Check it out. Yep. And the book wraps up really well. I didn't like the fact the way they wrote it is like, oh, we're sending Jay and the Monsters and keep kicking him out the door. And then, of course, you have Chris Sybil, who does pretty much the rest of the run. Now, I do have a complaint about... There was an article that came when they announced this book was ending, and they changed writer's place with somebody else. According to this article that this idiot from comicbook.com published, he said that this book ran out of steam after the first story arc. And I've talked to people about this particular article, and they agree with me. This writer is full of bullcrap. Like, are you claiming that Keith Giffen ran out of steam after the first story arc? That is so stupid. That is by far the dumbest thing I have ever heard related to Blue Beetle. These issues were awesome. Like, why the heck would you claim the book ran out of steam after the first story arc? That is dumb. By the way, I give the trade a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. But this article... Wow, this article, like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if this guy has ever written anything ever else ever again, but this guy's opinion is utter nonsense. Like, what book was he reading? He claimed that this book, Blue Beetle, ran out of steam after the first story arc, which is the first 5 issues. And I read this book when it was coming out. It was from 2016 to 2018. And my opinion is, no, it never did. Even the replacement writer had a great job with the book. I will talk about him in their comic corner, but man, this writer of this article, not this book, the Keith Giffen and Mice are awesome. And Scott Nolan's, I'm in person, really good person to me in person. But the writer of this article is full of bullcrap. And... why didn't anybody call this guy out for his other nonsense? Yes, I have read articles like this where they're very opinion-based. And they are terrible opinions. Why would you, in my opinion is, my question for this guy is, why would you criticize a book by Keith Giffen and Jay the Modius? Two guys who basically always do a lot of humor in the book. And this book basically felt like a bit of nostalgia fest. Basically for... people who like stuff from the 80s, and people like the High Maria's Blue Beetle stuff from pre-Flashpoint. I know the post-Flashpoint stuff was very mixed at best. I thought it was okay. Excuse me, but this book was really good. I'm surprised that Linkara didn't do a review of this book yet for his Blue Beetle retrospective. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Like, if he did like a follow-up to it and decided to review all 18 issues of this. If he did, looking forward to it. I'm sure you have a blast with this book, because this book was good. Really good. Though, the only thing I thought was missing from this book was Tracy 13. Yeah, she was the only character I thought was missing. Yeah, she's not even here. Of course, there's no, like, stuff with Identity Crisis happening in this continuity. Though this is before the Dark Knight, Dark Metal. This book was really good. And throwing in a character like Dr. Fate, a character that Keith Giffen wrote before, so that was really quite nice. O.M.A.C, as far as I can tell, prior to this book, I don't think Keith Giffen or Jay and the Monsters ever wrote an O.M.A.C book. No, not that I can think of. They didn't write them before this or even after this. And you might think, oh, the O.M.A.C stuff felt a bit random. It kind of did. And you know the weird thing is about O.M.A.C? As far as I can tell, I don't think he's popped up since this arc ended. I think this was his most recent appearance. Let me check this just to be sure. Well, the character's not dead. No, he isn't. Let's see. What was his most recent appearance? I think he did show up. I think he was thinking. Oh yeah, he did show up for Metal Man. Yeah, he did show up for Metal Man after this, and like one issue of New Superman, and that's it. Yeah, I did review the most recent one for Metal Man. Yeah, he popped up there. I kind of forgot he was there for a couple issues. But yeah, after this, he popped up there. Actually, no, he popped up first to boost his Gold Futures in. Yeah, he popped up here. Actually, this was before that. So basically, after this, he popped up in a couple books. Like, I think he popped up. I think this came out at the same time as this, where he popped up for a cameo in. Well, he actually didn't pop up in New Superman. He popped up in Metal Men, and like Wonder Woman Giant, which I think is his most recent appearance to date of the character. Yeah. Aside from that, not much else for him. Let me check. I think the issue goes, let's see. It may have been a reprint. Yeah, which is a reprint. So you can kind of say his most recent appearance date was actually definitely Metal Man, which came out just last year. Yep, so it took him, let's see, it took him 3 years to make a return. Yep, 3 years. 3 years to make a return for this character. Yeah. And, well, that'll be pretty much it for the character. But in the case of the Keith Giffen run for this book, it was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It felt like a really good book, and I like all the characters who are in here. Some characters, like Archon, probably not been seen in years. Like, I'm thinking, like, when was the last time he was actually seen in the book? Like, prior to this. Well, actually, he did pop up for Secret Six. I was his first appearance in Secret Six, so let's see, like, I'm looking at this, like, he first popped up in Secret Six, and he popped up for a few issues of Justice League, and popped up for the Drowned Earth stuff, which maybe he was a member of the Justice League. I'm not sure what was the purpose of being here. I was just in a vision. Statue. I think, was there any other, like, physical appearance to this guy? Flashback. It's like there's no physical appearance to this guy at all. No, it seems like that's what it seems like anyway. It seems like that's what Archon did. Just have him show up in flashback for a lot. I'm looking at basically, like, cause I think he's dead here. So yeah, so I think that this was his most recent appearance. Like, I think after this he definitely did die. Yep. And that was pretty much it for him. Yeah, he existed pre-Flashpoint. I think he was a creation of Paul Kepberg, who did briefly get his own series. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did. You thinking, really? Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, he's a sorcerer who popped up in Warlord of all things. Yes, Warlord. Who eventually got a couple books for himself. Yep. But yeah. That's it for this book. 9 out of 10. Really good. Okay, so that's it for Cycle of You. Stay tuned later on today for like maybe some Battlefield for J. And that'll be it for today, okay? So next video. Bye.